from One Team Kitchen. The holidays are here, and yes, they look a little different this year, and you're likely sharing your table with the same people you've been sharing your table with for the last 8 months, but that doesn't mean you can't make it special. Today, I'm going to show you how to make 2 appetizers, sun-dried tomato bites, and cranberry brie tarts. Okay, let's start with the sun-dried tomato bites. What you'll need is just 6 ingredients for this. We'll start with these Athens phyllo shells. They're awesome, and there's so many things you could do with them. Their website gives you lots of great ideas. We have reduced fat cream cheese, fat-free Greek yogurt plain, pesto, and this just came from a jar. If you're ambitious, you can make your own, but I did not. Sun-dried tomatoes packed in olive oil, and fresh basil. So the first thing we're going to do is put our phyllo shells in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 to 8 minutes. Now the reason we put them in the oven is to make them a little more crispy. It's not necessary they are fully cooked. However, if you're making this ahead, which you can make it 4 hours ahead, they'll hold in the fridge that long, you'll definitely want to crisp them to make sure they hold up better. So while that's in the oven, we're going to mix together our cream cheese and our Greek yogurt and our pesto, and we're going to mix that until smooth. Okay, so I've chopped my tomatoes finely, and you want to put the majority of your tomatoes in your mix and stir them in there. Okay, and next thing you want to do is put this into a bag to pipe it into your cups, which just came out of the oven. So I don't have a piping bag, so I'm just using a plain old Ziploc. You put that in a glass and scoop this in. Okay, so I've got my mixture in the bag. I've cut the tip off, and now what you want to do is just squeeze that filling in each of your cups. All right, I've got all my phyllo cups filled up. So now what I want to do, that leftover sun-dried tomato, you just want to sprinkle some of these on top, spread it out among them. It gives it a nice little festive touch. And then after you've done those, you want to take your fresh basil that is so delicious and cut this into little pieces. And put that on top for another little festive touch. So here we have the first beautiful bite-sized appetizer to serve your family this holiday season. All right, my second appetizer comes to you from one of my favorite recipe websites and Instagram pages, Half Baked Harvest, so be sure and check her out. We're gonna start with the fresh cranberries, melted butter, a little bit of cinnamon, and brown sugar. Now we're adding the sugar because if we didn't, the cranberries would be a little too tart, so that's why we're adding a little sweetness. All right, so I've got my cranberries all mixed up and they've been set aside. Now we're gonna work with the pastry sheets. So what these are just frozen puff pastry sheets. They're also great. You can do a million things with them as well. So I've let them thaw, and now I'm just going to cut these into 6 pieces each, and each box comes with 2 sheets, which is what this recipe calls for. So I'm going to cut these into 6 and then place them on my prepared baking sheet with parchment paper. All right, so once you have your puff pastry cut and laid out on your parchment paper, you want to take your preserves and spread about a teaspoon onto there, leaving about a 1/4 inch edge on each puff pastry. Now I'm using apricot preserves. You could really use whatever preserve you want that suits your taste. Fig preserves, grape preserves, strawberry preserves, whatever you want. Or you could use honey or maple syrup. All right, so I have my puff pastry with the apricot preserves on top, and I've cut this beautiful brie. You want to keep the rind on, and you want to put 2 thin slices on each rectangle. Okay, next thing you want to do is take your cranberries that you prepared earlier, and you just want to put a handful on each one of these and press them down a little bit into that brie just to get them to stay on there so they don't go rolling all over the place. Okay, next you want to brush your edges that you left free of anything with some egg wash. You're going to do that with all of them. Now you could fold up your edges a little bit to make them fancy, crimp them with a fork if you want, but I'm going for a rustic look, so I didn't do that. Okay, last step before they go in the oven is to sprinkle a little sugar right over that egg wash. All right, so these are now ready to go. They go into the oven, 425 for about 15 to 20 minutes. You can see we pulled the tarts from the oven. The brie has spilled over a little bit. That's okay. I put them on the cutting board, cut them into triangles, and then put them on a nice serving dish. And there you have your second appetizer for your holiday dinner table. So I hope you enjoy and happy holidays.